And joining me now with more, editor-in-chief of The Hill, Bob Cusack. So, Bob, Anita Hill was asked this morning about whether she thinks Dr. Ford should testify if there is no FBI investigation. I want to play for you what she had to say.
Do you believe that Dr. Blasey Ford has a duty to testify publicly, even if the conditions are not ideal?
Well, we're not talking about whether the conditions are ideal. We're talking about whether the conditions are actually tenable. Whether or not it is going to be anything more than just a sham proceeding so that the senators can say we gave her a chance to talk and then move on to doing exactly what they were intending to do before she came forward.
So, Bob, Anita Hill's accusations against then Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas, they were also investigated by the FBI. This came at the direction of the White House then. So doesn't it make sense all these years later that Dr. Ford should be as well?
Oh, that's what some people are saying. Others say that the FBI had clear jurisdiction because she was a federal employee at that time. I mean, this is such a fast-moving story, Rena, but just because, it was just yesterday that Dr. Ford's attorney said she's willing to testify. Republicans were on their heels, and now they're trying to play offense by saying, listen, she has a chance to tell her story. We're ready for her to do it. As you showed the clip of Senator Grassley, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, saying she can do it privately, publicly, behind closed doors, or in front of a national audience. It's a big decision, obviously, because this is a private individual, and if she testifies, she's going to be known forever for this. And politics right now is awfully volatile. So a lot can change between now and Monday, but right now Republicans are saying, here's the offer. You've got to come to the table if you want to tell your story.
President Trump said he'd be okay if there was just a little bit of a delay in the confirmation process. Is it in Kavanaugh's best interest at this point to ask for an FBI investigation?
Well, I think that's an interesting question. I'm not sure about that one, Rena. I mean, Kavanaugh has said absolutely not. When you're so close to a nomination, remember, Kavanaugh's nomination had been just swimmingly gone. He was headed for confirmation, going to sail to it. All Republicans were going to vote yes. I think about three Democrats were going to vote yes. Now all bets are off. But that's what the Democrats are saying. Listen, why do we need to rush this? Why don't we have the FBI investigate it further? Once again, the FBI is getting in the middle of everything, whether it's President Trump. Chris Wray has a very difficult job. He's the chief he's heading the FBI, and I'm sure he's involved in these discussions. So enormous political pressure on an agency that shouldn't be political, but certainly some are claiming that whatever decision they're going to make, it's a political decision.
Yeah, I want to turn to your exclusive interview the Hill had with President Trump, where he actually expressed his unhappiness with Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and I'm quoting here. He actually says, I don't have an attorney general. Here's how he responded to that today.
I'm disappointed in the attorney general for numerous reasons, but we have an attorney general. I'm disappointed in the attorney general for many reasons.
So did he go in and explain why he's so disappointed with Sessions?
Well, he's just so upset about the recusal because this has, as he's put a cloud over his presidency on Russia, and that a lot of ethical experts said Jeff Sessions absolutely had to recuse himself because he was part of the campaign, a leading figure. He was the first senator to actually endorse Trump. So I just think this is just another remarkable chapter of the president going after his attorney general. This is something you'd never see. Imagine President Obama going after Eric Holder. I mean, just publicly and in tweets and in interviews. So I think this is another sign that not anytime soon, but I think after the midterm elections, then Trump, Trump can just fire him, but has decided not to. But I don't think that this marriage can last because Trump can't get over that decision to recuse himself because Trump has said, listen, he's got to protect me. Others say that's not his job, but this marriage can't continue, Rena.
President Trump also hinted that he might use his executive powers to issue a new immigration order before the midterms. Did he give you any indication as to what that might be?
No, he was just hinting at it, and certainly we've seen a lot of actions on immigration with the Trump administration, including capping legal immigration, lowering the number that are allowed in. This is something that's part of President Trump's playbook for the midterms. He knows he's got to get the base out. Both sides need to get the base out, especially in a midterm. And immigration is something he talks about. He talks about immigration more, Rena, than the tax law, which is his signature achievement on Capitol Hill. So clearly, I think think up until the election, he's going to be doing things on immigration that appeal to his base. So that's not going to be any kind of deal on Dreamers. We've talked about, and he's talked about with Democrats, possible big deal with Dreamers and the wall. Maybe that deal could take place, but it's not going to happen before the election.
I want to turn now to North Korea. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un met with South Korean President Moon Jae-in in Pyongyang today. So among several of the things, North Korea agreed to actually take further measures in dismantling its nuclear complex as long as the U.S. upholds its end of the June Singapore summit agreement. What does the U.S. have to do exactly here? Can you clarify?
Well, this part of the agreement, and this is something that Trump touted on Twitter, that they have decided to do this, and it's a series of agreements between the two countries of what the U.S. has to do. I think the big question, though, is are they actually going to do any of these things? Remember, Mike Pompeo was going to North Korea, and Trump said don't go, because North Korea has a habit, and this is what Obama administration officials said, is that don't give them anything, don't give them these concessions, because it's always one step forward with North Korea and then one step back. They say they're going to do something and then they backtrack. So I think this is very much in limbo, despite the president's tweets and saying we've made significant progress. That remains to be seen.
I also want to ask you about China retaliating over President Trump's latest round of tariffs this week. Do you get the sense this is the latest in this escalation war that's been going on for months now? Should we see this as a signal that the White House isn't going to back down regardless of the consequences? We heard from Jack Ma this week, a Chinese billionaire, who said if there's a trade war between these two countries, it could last as long as 2 decades, Bob.
That's a long time. Yeah. And Trump has said, listen, China is paying for the tariffs, but that's not really true. Importers pay for the tariffs, and a lot of times they pass that along to the consumer. Now, we've seen some indications that prices are going up, but I don't think it's that tangible, at least not yet. And until it's tangible, and while the stock market and the economy are booming, I think Trump is going to continue to play this negotiation game where he's getting tougher on China. Inside the Beltway, the wisdom is, conventional wisdom is, this is hurting the president. I think outside the Beltway, certainly with Trump supporters, they agree with the president that these trade deals are not effective and that the U.S. hasn't struck good deals. And honestly, this is where Trump and Bernie Sanders agree. Trump and Sanders upended the whole trade agenda in Washington and it made Hillary Clinton backtrack from her trade stance in the past. So regardless here, I think Trump is going to continue to threaten auto tariffs, which is a big deal. And remember, these countries, they need our business. They need the U.S. business. So this is a game of chicken. But if prices go up and people see that at the supermarket and at other stores, that could change Trump's stance. But for now, he can hit the gas, and I think he's going to continue up until the elections, at least. Very real consequences here. Exactly. Interesting to see what happens in the coming months, Bob. Bob Cusack, grateful you can join us. Thanks, Rita.